Hi everyone, I just want to run through a retention rate formula and talk to you a little bit about why we should be using one, and to give you a framework around how to actually use that and implement it into your business. So remember, with retention rates, we're looking at how many clients we retain over the course of a period of time. That can be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. We should be looking at this at least yearly, and depending on the movement of our business, we might even want to look at that 6 monthly or even sooner than that. So I just want to talk a little bit about what the average business would do, because every business is going to vary. But really it's the process of actually looking at this and considering it in your business which is going to be really critical. Now this is, of course, isn't everything. This is one of the many tools that you use in your business to receive signals or feedback from the marketplace to let you know how you're going. And so it's just one of those things. So this is not the cavalry that's going to come over the hill and save the day. But it is just another tool or another set of tools that we can bring into our business when we're looking at our marketing area. So I've done a little bit of a spreadsheet above me here, you can see, and so there's not too many variables or too many elements that we need to consider. It's actually quite simple, okay, but certainly most businesses that I've come across over my years of consultancy don't use anything like this. You know, they might look at some figures in MYOB or Xero, one of those financial platforms, which is better than nothing. However, what a template like this allows us to do is it allows us to capture specific numbers. So we're not looking at revenue, we're not looking at profitability, we're just purely looking at customer numbers. And then you can see here I've put some little stars just because they're the areas that we're going to go and review after we've inputted those numbers. So this gives us quantitative information, but essentially the power in this information is then understanding it from a qualitative standpoint and going into each of these elements and researching it further and doing a deeper dive in those areas, so we can try and work out firstly whether we're winning or losing with our customer retention rate, or we can call it customer attrition as well, how many customers leave, and we also then need to ask another series of questions around why is this actually happening in our business. So let's start at the very beginning, hence I've got here customers at the beginning. And so what we're going to do is we're going to plug in a number here that we have at the beginning of the experiment. Okay, now I normally conduct, if we want to call it, I call them experiments, but if we want to look at when we would be beginning this experiment, I generally do these in financial year terms. So in Australia, that's beginning of July to end of June. And the reason why I do that is because around this time, around May, June, is a great opportunity to look retrospectively at what's happened the year before. The financial year's not over yet if we're doing it at the beginning of June or end of May. However, there's enough historical data that we can start to formulate some findings around what's happened over the previous 12 months. So you'll have your own, you might want to do it calendar year, it's completely up to you, but I'm just giving you some rationale around why I choose to do that around the beginning of the financial year, just before actually, to be exact, so that we've got enough time to make any adaptations to our marketing plan or our product management plan or whatever we're working with. So if I just plug in a figure, and again, this is going to be different to everyone. You know, some businesses may start with 3,000, some may start with 0 if they're a startup. I like the number 3, so I've just put in 300, right? So that's what we've got at the beginning. All right, so at the moment we've got a total of 300 customers that are on our books and spending. Then during the course of the year, we're going to go through client acquisition, if that is our strategy. If we're in a mature market, we may be looking less at client acquisition and more at client retention, but let's just bear with me. Let's pretend that we're wanting to grow the business, and so we're out there doing social media. We've got our marketing plan active, radio, press, whatever media vehicles we decide that we want to run in our business, and hopefully we're getting new clients from it. Otherwise we would need to question why we're doing that, but that can be one of the findings that we get. That's why there's a little star next to it. So let's say over the course of the 12 months we picked up 50 new clients. So now we've got 350 clients on our books. Now that doesn't tell us the entire story, because we need to know what's left. Because we could have a big bucket with a hole in it, and as fast as the clients come in, they could be leaking out of the bucket for whatever reason. So that's why this last figure is extremely important when we're looking at this experimentally, to try and determine what's going on in our business. So again, these are just hypothetical figures. So let's say at the end of that timeline, we have 200 clients. Okay, so we've essentially we have a retention rate of 57%. Which is the difference between 200 and 350. So I've just done that simple formula there. It's very basic to come up with that percentage. So what we're doing is we're firstly benchmarking that against our goal. Okay, now I've set a goal of 78% retention, and again that's going to vary depending on the industry we're in. What I've done to come up with 78% is I've looked at retail, banking, telecommunications, IT, insurance, professional services, and media companies, and I've simply just taken the median, or the mean I should say, of the different retention rates for those industries. Okay, which has given me 78%. But if you're in insurance, for instance, it's more like 83%. If you're in retail, it's more like 63%. So again, that's what averages are for, right? So we can just work out some sort of guide or benchmark. All right. So you will eventually be changing that depending on the own industry that you're in. But you can see we're well under. So now we have to start asking some questions around why that's actually happening. The first thing we want to do is we want to go back to the beginning. We want to benchmark that against the previous year to find out what we started with at the start of the previous year's experiment. What did we start with? Just to see what the disparity is there. We then want to have a look at our client acquisition. We want to benchmark that against previous years to see if we've gone up or down in our acquisition, and then we want to obviously have a look at our marketing to see what's changed in the marketing, both internally or maybe externally, that's altered that figure. So we need to look at that. We also then need to look at the customer end of period numbers, and we want to benchmark that again to the year before. So as you can see where I'm going with this, we need to keep these each year so we can benchmark. And we want to find out then if we've got a mass loss. So in this case, we started with 350, we've ended with 200, so we've lost 150 clients. We now need to go through and look at the various inputs into what has led to that. If we don't have any inputs, that's a problem. We need to get those inputs. So we need customer service surveys, sales, marketing, details. We need to try and find out maybe via social media if customers aren't happy, if something's happened with our branding, with our product defects, or whatever that is. So again, this is not going to save you this is not going to save your business, but what it does, it gives you some accountability around your retention. So we keep this in a formula like this, but then it prompts you to look at each of the areas with the star and to go and look at much further detail around why those things are happening. That's where the answer is. Okay, so this is really just a dashboard, if we'll call it that. And then from there, you're charged with, as a business owner or marketer or whatever role you have in the business, to go and find out, firstly, look at the benchmarking between previous years, and then to do a deep dive on new acquisition and client retention, and to find out why you may be winning or losing customers. So I hope that helps you a little bit. If there's any further information you need, just please feel free to contact me directly. Catch you later.